So what we just did was we looked kind of from Park Avenue, and now you're looking towards the boardwalk. So that's the boardwalk at the top
Long Beach
of the screen there. And Chopper, if you...
South is to your north, basically, right?
Well, south is in front of you. South is actually in front of you where the boardwalk is. Right, the top. But take a look at those vehicles there. Take a look at the sand that's just accumulated around the tires of those cars. Aaron Colton telling us earlier today that our crew cars that had been stored on Park Boulevard, which is right in the middle of Long Beach, that they were swept into each other, and they crashed into each other. These roads, what you're looking at, what's all filled with sand there, folks, those are roads and painted parking spots that are usually there. And this is covered up by sand. Now, I'm trying to get my bearings. If we can see just a little more of the boardwalk, Chopper, if you can go up just a little bit, because where the boardwalk ends in Long Beach, that's Neptune Boulevard. It's hard to see. It's really hard to see whether we're even looking at boardwalk there still. If we can go, is that still? I don't think so. Let's see, is that, yeah, that's still, wow, that's still boardwalk. And look at where the sand is under the boardwalk, how close the sand is there. As you start to go left, one of the last streets of the boardwalk is that Neptune. The water's still flowing right there. And as we continue to go left, if you see the old Lido Hotel, if you can swing left, Chopper, the old Lido Hotel, that will give you a view of what is the easternmost portion. Kind of give us a sense, the easternmost portion. There it is. Okay. So we were kind of in the center of town there. This is the old Lido Hotel. This is where they used to bring the soldiers after World War II, some of them, so they could kind of recoup and get back into it. Now, there's no boardwalk here for probably 3/4 of a mile as you start to swing here. A very, very densely populated area here. And then you're going to pick up the boardwalk, and that'll swing us all the way into the west end of town. And what happened was that the water pushed through, and it also brought sand through, and so those streets are jammed. Anybody trying to drive on those streets is kind of like bicycling on sand.
So you never noticed you used to live in Long Beach, too.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, Lido used to live on Lincoln and East Boulevard there. And that open space there is they had taken down a hotel, and they were going to rebuild, and they never have. And so that's kind of the Beach Street area where you're looking at, that's open. Those people even more exposed in those buildings there.
You look at that and, a couple things jump out at you. How many houses and how many people live on that small barrier island surrounded by an ocean and a bay, and just looking at all the sand where sand should not be.
Yeah,
kind of
exactly.
sums it up.
Let's follow that car and see how that car does, Chopper. If you can slightly go left. You see that one that's driving? Now, how far will they go? Again, traffic lights out, so be aware of that. But look at those cars that are side by side. There's no way of knowing whether they're but they're pointing in the wrong direction, it appears to us. And now, this is going to go down to Broadway. This is Broadway, and they're going right here on Broadway. There's water here in the center of the road, in a place where there should not be water, but it was swept up, and this is Broadway. That's water on the left. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't. There should be buildings there. Again, a hotel removed on the left there. A couple of buildings removed years ago, and they never rebuilt in that sandy area. But Long Beach just devastated. And you take a look at what we've got going on in Long Beach today. Long Beach is... They've got no water. The water's been turned off. They're trying to evacuate everybody. That means no toilets. They're going to be dropping in porta potties at every single intersection in the town, as many as they possibly can. And we had the city supervisor tell us earlier, if they want to evacuate, go out and stand on the street and flag down a bus.
That's right. Buses will be going through the neighborhoods, taking people out of the city there onto the mainland up into Levittown. I think he said 500 porta potties being installed. New generators are being brought in, generators that power the water and sewage plant in Long Beach. We're 6 feet underwater. So there's a good shot right there. Look at all those cars. Now, they didn't park there yesterday. They just kind of ended up there. Incredible.
Just swept around. And you can see the sand that is swept up. So anybody planning to drive there, you see that car at the very top now turning right to get out of there. You're going to get stuck in the sand. As we said, it's like bicycling in the sand. Look at those cars that are collided there. Those 5 cars right there. See the orange one on the right-hand side there, or the red one, whatever that is? Cars were swept away. And Erin did tell us earlier today that, our crew cars, one was knocked into the other, just carried away, and they had moved it all the way to the main drag in the middle, which is the high point in Long Beach. Not that it's all that high, but they had brought that to Park Avenue, and one of our cars just moved into the other. But then the guy with the BMW had his story.
Mm-hmm. Right. Said he parked a couple blocks away. All right, 9:13 is your time. That's the scene in Long Beach.
Wow,
and
is that
unfortunately, wow.
That's nuts. That is
that just
nuts.
a discoloration in the roof, or is that part of the roof? Little change there on that building there. It's hard.
Yeah, you see the water flowing around that corner there. I'm sorry, Rich.
Yeah, I was just looking at the roof to see if there was any structural damage, because it looks like it was different colors. I wasn't sure if that was just the part of the structure or not.
It is possible that some of that roof blew off. I mean, even where I am, I found a piece of shingle in my driveway this morning when I was leaving. But, boy, take a look at that. And that building, if we pull out, always the boardwalk is the best way to reorient us as we pull out from Chopper. So that is a block off. Okay, so that is on the other side of Broadway here, as you take a look at that, and you see all the water that is in front of that building. So that water is still rushing in, folks, from the ocean. It's continuing under the boardwalk at the First Street, Shore Road, then on to Broadway. Shore is what runs along the boardwalk. Then there's Broadway. Then there are a couple of other, side streets where some of the people live until you get up to Park Avenue. And you still have water all the way up to that Broadway area, and a lot of sand and a lot of damage. And this is why, literally, the city of Long Beach is being evacuated today.
All right, 9:14 is your time. We have Rich with us now to talk about what is next here.